what's going on, guys? War Brothers Collectibles here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome. And thank you very much for subscribing. I hope you're enjoying the content. So in this video, I wanted to talk about everything recently that I've watched or read. And just talk a little bit about my experience with each of these movies or books. So a while ago, I did a video on a Joel Schumacher DVD update. Because I was in the mood to start watching his movies and things like that. We watched The Number 23. A few months back, which I ended up really enjoying. And then not so long ago, we actually did watch Joel Schumacher's The Phantom of the Opera, Gerard Butler. And this is just the DVD version. And I really enjoyed this movie. I went in, knowing nothing about the musical or anything like that, not really knowing what it was about. But I really enjoyed this movie. The songs are great, and I just really enjoyed the story. And yeah, I really enjoyed this film. And now I know it got kind of a mixed reception because it deviates from the original musical, I believe, in some ways. But because I've completely went into this not knowing what to expect, never even seen Phantom of the Opera before or anything like that, I really enjoyed this, and I thought it was really good. The production values were high, the songs were good, the choreography was amazing. And yeah, I know Gerard Butler got kind of a backlash for being in this, but I thought he did a great job. He's not a singer, obviously, and that shows, but I think he did a perfectly fine job. And yeah, I really enjoyed this film. That was The Phantom of the Opera. And then I actually just recently finished reading Jaws, the Peter Benchley novel, of course, that the film is based on. Now, I've got to actually say, it was okay, the book. I did not enjoy it as half as near as much as the film. The film is far superior in my opinion. I just think the book, I was always expecting more from it. I didn't like the characters. They were too different because I grew up with the film. Obviously I've seen the film first. I'm used to the film's interpretation of the characters and things like that. And in the novel, I just did not enjoy Brody, Hooper and Quint, which of course is the main three characters of the film. Of the story, I mean, and they are absolutely played amazing in the film, and you connect to each character, and each one is unique and really memorable. But in this, I just did not enjoy the way they were written. I did not like Quint at all. I thought Robert Shaw in the film is far superior than his novel counterpart. I didn't care for the affair between Ellen and Hooper. Spoiler alert, they do have an affair in this book, and that is written out of the movie, thank God. I just did not care for that aspect of it, and it was just always left wanting more here. I just really did not enjoy this book. It was okay, but I have no desire to go back and ever read it again. So yeah, I was quite disappointed with the way the book turned out for me in the end. It was okay. But as I said, this is an instance where the film is actually far superior to the book. And then recently I watched, of course, the Exorcist II, The Heretic, the international version, the 103-minute version. And I've done a video of this, guys, on my channel. As you know, I did not enjoy this cut of the film. I just prefer the original premiere version over any other version of this movie. But the picture quality was good, and all in all, it was a great release from Arrow Video. Then I've done a video on this on my channel, guys. Of course, this is The Good, The Bad, The Ugly from Arrow Video. This is the 4K limited edition release. Excellent film, of course, one of the best movies ever made, but this 4K is absolutely stunning. Great picture quality throughout, great color palette, was really enjoying it, and everything about the 4K release is absolutely stunning, and this is a really great piece and a really great collector's set to have. So I really enjoyed watching this on 4K, and I cannot wait to return to it in the very near future. And then just yesterday, actually, I was in a bit of an Exorcist mood, and I decided to watch the first film, of course, the original Exorcist. Now, I did just watch the original theatrical version, not the director's cut. So, of course, the spider walk scene down the stairs was absent. And there is a few other scenes here and there, but I cannot remember the differences between the cuts while I'm making this video. But the theatrical version actually had an introduction from William Friedkin, the director, which I don't think I've ever seen before. So that was kind of interesting, and he just gave a little introduction to the digitally remastered version of the movie. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of The Exorcist, especially the first film. It's good, I suppose, it's good, but it's not it's certainly not one of my favourites. I certainly prefer Halloween and films like that over The Exorcist. I know it was controversial back in the day, and it was this huge thing, and it's regarded as one of the best movies ever made, certainly one of the best horror movies ever made. And, it is incredibly well done, but I'm just not a fan of the editing. I know it was done intentionally to put the audience on edge and create tension and atmosphere and things like that and make an unnerving experience. But it's so jarring to me. I've never been able to get used to the editing of The Exorcist. But I do know that it was done intentionally. I'm just not a fan of it. And then last night we were in a bit of a Spider-Man mood, and we actually sat down and watched The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. Now, I always really enjoyed this film. I saw this in the cinema when it came out, and I grew up with Tobey Maguire, the first 3 Spider-Man films, so this was a nice, fresh reboot. And I really enjoyed this. And I remember walking out of the cinema saying, this is what Spider-Man should have been. Although, I love the Tobey Maguire, I grew up with them. This was just so refreshing and such a new, great experience. And it offered something different to Spider-Man fans. And I hadn't seen it for many, many years. Of course, I've had the Blu-ray for a long time. But we put it on last night, and we both really enjoyed it. We're going to watch The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as well. I did see that in cinemas when that came out as well, in 3D IMAX. And I actually came out with a headache because there was so much going on in the 3D. It was just a crazy experience from what I can remember. But in terms of The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, I prefer the first film, which is this one right here. I love the design of the costume that they did. They did something quite different. But then they changed the costume again for the second film to make it more like the comics, because this one received maybe some criticism, I think. But I really enjoyed what they did with the costume, and the fact that he had to invent his web shooters. That is more closer to the comics, of course. And The Amazing Spider-Man is a great film, and it's just a shame that the series didn't continue after The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But it was also brilliant to see all the versions of the Spider-Men in No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home with Tom Holland. Of course, we got to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come back as Spider-Man, which was an incredible sight. I do really want to watch the Spider-Verse movies. I have the first one on Blu-ray, but I've never actually sat down and watched it, so I intend to do that in the very near future. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. This was just an update of what I've been watching recently and the kind of things I've been reading. I do intend to start reading this book next, The American West. I think this is next on my reading list. I'm quite excited to read this book. In terms of movies, we're just going to watch The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And we are trying to watch Avatar: The Way of Water again, but it's really hot weather at the moment in the UK, and it's a really long film, so we're just going to wait until the temperature drops a little bit, I think. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoy this content, please give this video a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you've not done so already. It really helps me out, really inspires me, and really makes me want to make more videos. I love making videos, love creating content on YouTube, and I really appreciate all the help and support. And thank you, guys. I will see you soon in the next video. Take care.